أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيته الأطيبين الأنجبين بهم نتولى ومن أعدائهم نتبرأ إلى الله. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. الحمد لله الذي جعلنا من المتمسكين بولاية علي أمير المؤمنين والأئمة المعصومين عليهم السلام. Mubarak to you all, this auspicious occasion of Eid al-Ghadeer, the Eid Allah al-Akbar, the greatest of the a'yads of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, Wilayat of Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salatu was-salam, and that is, in the entire creation there is nothing more joyous than Eid al-Ghadeer. It is the Eid of Imam al-Asr alayhi salatu was-salam. من مات ولم يعرف إمام زمانه مات ميتة جاهلية. Someone who dies not knowing the Imam of his time has died a death of ignorance. All of the emphasis that we have in our deen, it is towards imamat. All of the emphasis. Even if it comes to educating our children, first comes the Wilayat of Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salatu was-salam, much before than even training and teaching them prayers and fasts and all of the furu ad-deen. Because if that Wilayat of Amir al-Mu'mineen is there in his heart, that love of Ali is there in his heart, the child also, he will do everything out of love. May that be prayers, may that be charity, may that be serving and what not, everything is based on that Wilayat of Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salatu was-salam. Wilayat means to accept the custodianship of Imam in all walks of life, not just that I love the Imam alayhi salam. Whatever he loves, I love. Whatever he does, I do. And only then will that Wilayat will be there in my livelihood, a reflection of the existence of Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salatu was-salam. Now it's a special night tonight, being the night of the 18th, eve of the 18th of Dhul Hijjah, the eve of Ghadeer, and there are some special du'as and exclusive prayers to be offered for tonight. Now generally the prayers that we have, there are 2 rakat, the mustahab ones, or 1 rakat like the watr prayer, or the wajib prayers like 2 and 3 and 4, Fajr and Maghrib and Asr and Isha and Zohr. Now for tonight, after Maghrib, there is a 12 rakat namaz, a prayer to be offered with the niyat of qurbatan ilallah, and it is exclusive for tonight. So it is 12 rak'at in one stretch. So you start with a takbiratul ihram, Allahu Akbar, and then you recite Suratul Hamd once in the first 11 rak'at. This will be the format. So after takbiratul ihram, niyat will be qurbatan ilallah, the namaz, the salat for the eve of Ghadeer. And after takbiratul ihram, you recite Suratul Hamd once, Suratul Ikhlas 10 times, and Ayatul Kursi once. And then in the second rakat, also the same format, 1 Hamd, 10 Qul Huwallah, and 1 Ayatul Kursi. And then in the second rakat, you will sit down and do a tashahhud without salam. And after the second rakat and tashahhud, you will rise, do the third rakat and the fourth rakat with the same one hamd and 10 Qul Huwallah and one Ayatul Kursi, and then sit down again. You'll have the second tashahhud, then you will rise, and that will be your 5th rakat and 6th rakat. 6th rakat you will sit down, tashahhud, and then so it's going to be 12 rak'at with 6 tashahhuds, and in the 12th rakat you will do Suratul Hamd 7 times, and then Ikhlas also 7 times, and then you will take a qunut. And in the qunut there is a small dua. You can have your devices in front of you or have a printout of the a'mal of these du'as, and then you can look and see La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah, lahul mulku wa lahul hamd, yuhyi wa yumeet wa yumeetu wa yuhyi, wa huwa hayyun la yamut, biyadihi al-khayr, wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. So once you've done this qunut, and then you bow down in ruku, and then the 2 sajdas are done, and you will do the tashahhud, and now this tashahhud will be with the salam. So after the salam also, once you will there is another small dua that is recited in the last sajda. That also, if someone can read it out for you, or you have it recorded and just play it when you are in sajda, or find another way out to get that recited, and that is going to be in the last sajda. And then in the sajda shukr. So once you've done and the dua also, whatever you want, duas can be sought, and this is a special dua for prayer, salat for tonight. And innaka sami'un mujib, indeed you hear and you listen to everything. So that is the namaz that we have for tonight. For tomorrow, we have a ghusl, and then we would fast if you can, and then wear good clothes, and then wear perfume, give gifts to mu'mineen, give sadaqah, and 1 dirham sadaqah on this day, it equals to 1,000 dirhams of sadaqah. And also feeding the needy, feeding mu'mineen, feeding anyone on this day of Ghadeer is also of exclusive importance. And the hadith says that if you feed one person on the day of Ghadeer, it is like feeding 124,000 prophets. So that is the honor that is given to this day. It's not the food that you give someone, it is how you observe the day. And because it is a special occasion, special event, all this investment is there for this day of Ghadeer. Now in the skies, this day is known as Ahdun Ma'hud, the promised covenant, the known day, or Jam'un Mashhud, Mithaqun Ma'khuz, the sworn allegiance, the witnessed congregation. All these are the different names that we have for this day of Ghadeer, and it is more important than any other Eid. Most important Eid. If Eid al-Fitr is there, it is because of Ghadeer. If Eid al-Adha is there, it is because of Ghadeer. In fact, everything, all the entire mission of Rasulullah and all the prophets alayhimus salam has remained because of Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salatu wassalam. Now because of the importance of the existence of this Wilayat and Amir al-Mu'mineen, the opposition also worked very hard right from since its inception, and even today it continues. Inshallah, we'll continue this talk today, tomorrow, and Thursday and Friday, inshallah. Regarding Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salatu wassalam, after appointing him on the day of Ghadeer, Rasulullah, he says, فَلْيُبَلِّغِ الْحَاضِرَ الْغَائِبِ وَالْوَالِدِ وَالْوَلَدِ إِلَى يَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ. Now such statements we don't find so many from the Ma'asumeen, that doing something and this duty is bound until the day of judgment, assigned to you and me. Here the Prophet says that until the day of judgment, you those who are present in that Ghadeer, present 1200 years ago, you have to inform those who were absent. And then he says every father has to inform his son, his children, until the day of judgment. About what? About this incident of Ghadeer, importance of Ghadeer, Wilayat of Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salatu wassalam. And it is wajib on parents, more important than namaz, and installing the love of Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salatu wassalam in the hearts of the children. Because Amir al-Mu'mineen is the source, the root, the cause. And if that mahabbat of Amir al-Mu'mineen has been placed in the hearts of the youngsters and our children, then everything else will be safe. If he wants to do charity, he will do it out of love, because he who he follows is someone who gives everything away in charity. If he wants to pray, he will do it out of love, because he is following someone, that is Amir al-Mu'mineen. For him, everything is prayers and salat. He lived for prayers, he offered prayers in battles. It is in the salat that he died. If it is goodness that the children will continue with the love of Amir al-Mu'mineen, it will be a reflection of the goodness of Amir al-Mu'mineen. So goodness he will be inclined to, purity he will acquire, chastity he will observe, all of that because of the love of Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salatu wassalam. No wonder Rasulullah, he says, until the day of judgment, those present here must inform those who are absent, and every father must inform his children. And he continues. The next statement is even more shocking. He says, Mal'oonun mal'oon, maghdhoobun maghdhoob, man radda qawli fi aliyyin hadha. Mal'oon, twice he says over here, means he's banished from the mercy of Allah. Curses upon him, curses upon him. Maghdhoobun means upon him be the divine wrath. Maghdhoobun maghdhoobun man radda qawli hadha. Whoever denies this my statement regarding the imamat and wilayat of Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salatu wassalam. Now someone who adheres to this noble command of Rasulullah and abides by the wilayat of Amir al-Mu'mineen, is respectful towards Amir al-Mu'mineen, is obedient towards Amir al-Mu'mineen, the statement of Rasulullah over here is even much more severe. Says, Wansur man nasarah, God help him who helps Ali. So Allah, whatever this person wants, who is helping Amir al-Mu'mineen in his thoughts, in his belief, in his action, in his amal, Allah help him, provide him. Whatever he wants, you provide. Wakhzul man khadhalah. Wakhzul means that don't help. Someone who doesn't help Ali, God, you also don't help him. Now we have ayat in Quran which have a similar meaning, saying that when you remember God, He remembers you. When you help God, He helps you. Here Rasulullah says, he who doesn't help Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salam, God, you also don't help him. So Ghadeer, many just participate in it. Some feed, some observe, some recite, some serve, some give gifts, some give Eid. All that is very good. Now here the quality of that has to be intensified, has to be increased, that at least one of the Ghadeers of our lifetime we have observed to the best of our abilities, with the sincerity, with ikhlas, with the best of qualities of niyat and actions, must be there in our amal. Because this Ghadeer and this wilayat of Amir al-Mu'mineen is the only thing that is going to definitely bail us out at the time of death and in the hereafter, and will make us enter the heaven. Because Amir al-Mu'mineen is Qasimun Nari wal Jannah, the distributor of the hell and the heaven. Now, here Rasulullah further says, whoever is careless and does nothing for Ghadeer, this statement applies. Do not help him, O God. Do whatever you can on this social media or by providing, serving, helping, feeding, making a dish or a cake or something. Now, when it comes to the birthday parties of our children or marriages and all these ceremonies that we have for our families, we give so much of importance and we spend so much for that. Just bear that in mind, and this is for Amir al-Mu'mineen, and whatever is done for Amir al-Mu'mineen, in many thousand folds it is paid back, it is returned to you, whatever you do for the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. Now that is regarding Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salatu wassalam, and the importance that we have to have in observing this day of Ghadeer. One of the other things that needs to be addressed over here is that أثبتكم قدما يوم القيامة أثبتكم قدما على الصراط أشدكم حبا لأهل بيتي. Rasulullah, he says that the firmest on the sirat among you on the day of judgment is someone who has the most love towards my Ahlul Bayt, towards my Ahlul Bayt. أشدكم حبا لأهل بيتي. Now, here in this month of Dhul Hijjah, it's the month of Wilayat. There are 7 exclusive events that take place, and all of that goes to, the credit of that is with Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salam. On the 1st of Dhul Hijjah, it's the marriage of Amir al-Mu'mineen with Hazrat Fatima Salamullahi alayha. On the 7th of Dhul Hijjah, it's the revelation of Surat Hal Ata, Surat al-Dahr, in the honor of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. Now all these virtues are for Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. And on the 18th, it is the khutbah of the Khilafat, a program that Rasulullah has for the years ahead until the Day of Judgment to establish an Islamic state, and that is the Ghadeer of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. And on the 21st of Dhul Hijjah, it is the day when Amir al-Mu'mineen, he gives away his ring as the sadaqah and charity whilst he was offering his prayers. And then on the 21st of Dhul Hijjah, it is the Hadith al-Basat. We'll explore that hadith. I'll recite the entire hadith today and what happened in that Hadith al-Basat. 24th, it is the brotherhood, the pact of brotherhood that Rasulullah signs with the Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salatu wassalam. And on the 24th, it is Mubahala. And all of these days, 7 events, 7 virtues of Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salatu wassalam. On the 1st, it is the fadilat that Amir al-Mu'mineen carries. It is his wedding with Hazrat Fatima. That Rasulullah, he says, Inna Allah amarani an uzawwija Fatima min Ali. That Allah has commanded me to wed Fatima to Ali alayhi salam. So it was a Thursday, and then the 19th of Dhul Hijjah, on the 1st of Dhul Hijjah, when this Mubarak incident takes place, the wedding of Amir al-Mu'mineen and Hazrat Fatima Salamullahi alayha. Now the second incident that we have in this sacred month, it is the khutbah of the Khilafat of Amir al-Mu'mineen, that 25 years after the demise of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam, people they rush towards allegiance of haqq and justice and towards Amir al-Mu'mineen. Now they gathered in a mosque in Medina and witnessed the sermon of Khilafat of Amir al-Mu'mineen, which began. Now this is immediately after the assassination of Osman, the third Khalifa. Now the sermon that Rasulullah has over here, in Rasulullah, he had mentioned Aliyun Khalifati fikum fasma'u lahu wati'u. Ali is my Khalifa amongst you. Listen to him, be obedient to him. Now 25 years after Rasulullah, when people they came to him, and that is after the assassination of Osman, Amir al-Mu'mineen has a khutbah in the masjid in Medina. Says, Zimmati bima aqulu rahinatun wa ana bihi za'im. Now, he starts this khutbah, and our great scholars, they say that every word of this khutbah is miraculous. And it's at the peak of maturity, eloquence, and man, he's incapable to understand what Amir al-Mu'mineen Salamullah alayh has mentioned, the statements of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam in this khutbah. Special points in this khutbah, most deserving, most suitable for the rank is Amir al-Mu'mineen. Then strengthening unity and refraining from tafriqah, from discord. And then advising towards taqwa, refraining from sins. Observing the rules of Islam and in line with Quran and Sunnah. Introducing the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam and the virtues and the qualities they carry. All of them were mentioned in this sermon, and it was delivered in the 35th year after Hijrah. The third fadilat that Amir al-Mu'mineen carries and in this month is that he gives away the ring whilst he was offering his prayers. So one day a Jew, he comes to Rasulullah and he says that, have you appointed someone as your successor like Musa had done? And he appointed Harun, and now they were coming to the mosque. Now here a needy, a beggar, he comes to the masjid and then he asks for help. Amir al-Mu'mineen is offering his prayers. No one helps from among the companions of Rasulullah. He complains, he says, God, all these companions and ashab of Rasulullah are present here in this masjid and no one has helped me. Amir al-Mu'mineen was in ruku. He showed him his hand, pointing at him to come and take the ring from his hand. He took the ring away. And upon there, Rasulullah also, he entered the mosque. And then he sees this beautiful action of Amir al-Mu'mineen Salamullah alayh. He prays to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala and says, God, you that I want a minister like Ali alayhi salam, just as you chose a minister for Prophet Musa alayhi salam, to choose a minister for me. And immediately this verse was revealed, إِنَّمَا وَلِيُّكُمُ اللَّهُ وَرَسُولُهُ وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا الَّذِينَ يُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةَ وَيُؤْتُونَ الزَّكَاةَ وَهُمْ رَاكِعُونَ. That is, in the وَلِيُّكُمُ اللَّهُ, indeed your wali and the wali of Rasulullah and of those of the believers is he who keeps up prayers and then he gives away sadaqah whilst he is in ruku. And this also was exclusive only for Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. No one before him performed this act of beauty, and no one will ever be able to do it after him. Now the fourth beauty that we have for Amir al-Mu'mineen, and it is in this month of Dhul Hijjah, it is the hadith basat. Basat means a rug, a sheet, a rug. Now here we'll say it a rug. Now I'll read the entire hadith and give you the translation so that you know what exactly it is. Now if you want to find it, you can find it in Irshadul Qulub of Daylami. And here hadith is, the reporter is Salman al-Farsi. قال دخل أبو بكر وعمر وعثمان على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله. Salman says, one day Abu Bakr, Umar and Uthman, the three Khalifas, they entered upon Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. And they say, ما بالك تفضل عليا علينا في كل حال. They say to Rasulullah, why is it that you always excel Ali over us in every issue, in every aspect? فقال ما أنا فضلته. Rasulullah says, I did not excel him. بل الله تعالى فضله. It is Allah indeed who has excelled him. فقالوا وما الدليل. فقال صلى الله عليه وآله. They said, and what evidence? Rasulullah says, إذا لم تقبلوا مني فليس من الموت موتى عندكم أصدق من أهل الكهف. Says, if you don't accept it from me, why Allah has excelled him. Now, if one of the deceased and the dead, if they testify and give this testimony, you will accept. And from among the deceased and the dead, there is no one more noble than the Ashabul Kahf. He says that no one more dignified and noble than the Ashabul Kahf. وَأَنَا أَبْعَثُكُمْ وَعَلِيًّا وَأَجْعَلُ سَلْمَانَ شَاهِدًا عَلَيْكُمْ. Rasulullah says, I will send you, that is you three, and Ali, and I will make Salman a witness over you. إِلَىٰ أَصْحَابِ الْكَهْفِ, I will send you to the Ashabul Kahf, the companions of the cave. Now what you will do is that you will go there, you will greet them, the companions of the cave, and then فَمَنْ أَحْيَاهُمُ اللَّهُ لَهُ وَأَجَابُوهُ كَانَ الْأَفْضَلُ. So if Allah revives them, and if they speak to you and respond to what you say, He will be the most excellent among you. قَالُوا رَضِينَا, they said, we accept. فَأَمَرَ بِبَسْطِ بَسَاطٍ لَهُ. Now here Rasulullah orders, commands to the people to spread out a rug, and then he asks every one of them to sit in one of the corners. So one corner Abu Bakr, the other Osman, the Abu Bakr, Umar, and on the other Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. Sorry, Amir al-Mu'mineen was made to sit in the middle. Salman was made to sit in one of the corners as an observer. Now says that Rasulullah, وأجلس كل واحد منهم على قرنة من البساط وأجلس سلمان على القرنة الرابعة ثم قال يا ريح. Rasulullah commands the wind to take them to Ashabul Kahf and to bring them back when they are done. Salman says, فَدَخَلَتِ الرِّيحِ تَحْتَ الْبَسَاطِ وَسَارَتْ بِنَا, that the wind, it came and it took us all the way to that ghar, to that cave where Ashabul Kahf are resting, are buried. فَحَتَتْنَا فَقَالَ أَمِيرُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ يَا سَلْمَانَ هَذَا الْكَهْفِ. Amir al-Mu'mineen said to Salman, this is that very cave. In no time they reached the cave. هذا الكهف والرقيم فقل للقوم يتقدمون أو نتقدم فقالوا نحن نتقدم. Amir al-Mu'mineen says to Salman, tell them to go ahead and speak to the Ashab al-Kahf, or I will go ahead. They said, no, we'll go first. They went first, and then they said to the Ashab al-Kahf, saying that فقام كل واحد منهم وصلى ودعا وقال السلام عليكم يا أصحاب الكهف فلم يجبهم. Every one of them, they offered a 2 rakat prayer, some prayers, and then they prayed to the Almighty and addressed the Ashabul Kahf, and no one responded to any one of the three. فقام أمير المؤمنين. Amir al-Mu'mineen stood after them. He offered a 2 rakat prayer, and then he prayed to the Almighty. وَنَادَى يَا أَصْحَابَ الْكَهْفِ. He called Ashab al-Kahf. فَصَاحَ الْكَهْفِ وَصَاحَ الْقَوْمِ مِنْ دَاخِلِهِ بِالتَّلْبِيَةِ. Says the entire cave, it shook in the reply and response of the Ashab al-Kahf to Amir al-Mu'mineen, saying لبيك لبيك. فقال أمير المؤمنين عليه السلام السلام عليكم أيها الفتية الذين آمنوا بربهم. Amir al-Mu'mineen greeted them with the salam and saying that, oh, men who are faithful to their Lord. And then Allah also increased in their guidance. فقالوا وعليك السلام. They also said وعليك السلام, O brother of Rasulullah, successor of Rasulullah, أمير المؤمنين لقد أخذ الله علينا العهد بعد إيماننا بالله وبرسوله Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi laka ya Amir al-Mu'mineen. Says Allah, He took this covenant from us, this allegiance from us after we had embraced to the Almighty Allah. He took this allegiance of the Risalat of Rasulullah and your Wilayat then. And we admit to the Risalat of Rasulullah and to your Wilayat ila yawm al-qiyamah, until the day of judgment. Yawm al-din fasaqat al-qawm ala wujuhihim. Now the three of them, they fell on their faces at that moment. وَقَالُوا لِسَلْمَانَ, they said to Salman, let's go back. فَقَالَ مَا ذَلِكَ لِي فَقَالُوا يَا أَبَا الْحَسَنِ رُدَّنَا. Salman said, I can't do that. And said to Abu al-Hasan, Abu al-Hasan is Amir al-Mu'mineen, says, Amir al-Mu'mineen, take us back. Just like Rasulullah, he commanded the wind whilst they were there in Medina, and the rug took them from Medina to here, to Jordan, where the Ashab al-Kahf are buried. Just like that, Amir al-Mu'mineen commanded the wind there in Jordan, in the Ghar, in the cave of the Ashab al-Kahf. And from there, the rug was brought back to Rasulullah in no time. And here Jibreel salamullah alayhi reported to Rasulullah the entire incident, report what had happened. Now Rasulullah, he says that Jibreel has given me the report. فَقَالَ هَذَا حَبِيبي Jibreel, this is Jibreel here. أخبرني, he has informed me. فَقَالُوا الْآنَ عَلِمْنَا فَضْلَ عَلِيٍّ عَلَيْنَا من عند الله عز وجل ولأمتك. All of them, they admitted. They said that we now understand and we now know the excellence of Ali over us and before Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala and over the nation. Now these people and everyone during the time of Rasulullah, they knew the excellence of Amir al-Mu'mineen. They knew the reason why Amir al-Mu'mineen is so different and Amir al-Mu'mineen is the successor, but regardless, despite all that, they did not obey the command of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This hadith that I just recited, it is known as Hadith Basat. And then the fifth virtue of Amir al-Mu'mineen salamullah alayhi in this sacred month of Dhul Hijjah, it is the Aqd Ukhuwat. Aqd Ukhuwat, the pact of brotherhood. Inshallah, tomorrow we'll talk about this pact of brotherhood, because tomorrow is the day of Ghadeer and it is mustahab to be done then, and we can do it online as well. Now there Rasulullah, he appoints now everyone, when in Medina, Rasulullah, he makes every other inhabitant of Medina as the brother of the other. The only person who remained without a brother was Amir al-Mu'mineen. He made every person, and the rule that we have in these Arab countries, that foreigners, when they go and they want to establish a business, they say that you have to have a local partner, that who will be a stakeholder, a shareholder in that business. This is something that has started from the time of Rasulullah. So here Rasulullah, today they use it to make money, but then it wasn't for that sake. It was for the pact of brotherhood. So Rasulullah made the Muhajirin a brother of the Ansar, and then the only person who was left alone was Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salam. He says, Ya Ali, anta akhi wa ana akhuk. Ali, you are my brother and I am your brother. So it was there this ayah was revealed. Innamal mu'minuna ikhwa. Indeed, mu'mineen, they are brothers. Hada akhi fid dunya wal akhirah. He says that he is my brother in this world and in the akhirah. Now the sixth virtue of Amir al-Mu'mineen salamullah alayhi in this month of Dhul Hijjah, it is the ayah Mubahala, where Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa wasallam, after the revelation of that ayah, he says, Aliyun minni kanafsi, that Ali is from me just like myself. Mubahala means a curse and a request for divine punishment for a false group. So the sha'n nuzul of this ayah is that when the Christians of Najran, they refused to accept Islam, and God said to His Prophet, قُلْ تَعَالَوْا نَدْعُوا أَبْنَاءَنَا وَأَبْنَاءَكُمْ وَنِسَاءَنَا وَنِسَاءَكُمْ وَأَنفُسَنَا وَأَنفُسَكُمْ. So come, let us call our sons, our women, and your women, our souls and your souls. Then let us pray earnestly and call down Allah's curse upon the liars. So it was a custom then, mubahala, that they had an argument, a debate, and then then they used to curse one another, and whoever was the winner, his curse got accepted. Now Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, on the day of mubahala, when Imam Hussein alayhi salam is an infant in the laps of Rasulullah is hugging Imam Hussein and holding Imam Hassan with his other hand, and Amirul Mu'mineen and Fatima salamullah alayhima, they are walking behind Rasulullah, heading towards the meeting ground of Haqq and Batil. Here Rasulullah, he says to them, will you embrace, will you submit, believe in the one God and my risalats? Or do I ask Allah, do I pray to Him to destroy you all? They see that the Bishop of Najran said to the Christians that I see people in this mubahala who, if they just raise their hands in dua, God will remove the mountains, shake the mountains, and He will fulfill their wish. And if we argue, we will all perish, and there will be no one but Muslims who will remain on the surface of this earth. So they accepted to refuse by paying a jizya, a fine, and every year 2,000 gold coins they said we'll pay and we'll remain Christians. That Rasulullah, he accepted. Now Quran introduces Amirul Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salatu wassalam as the Nafsun Nabi, the soul of the Prophet, in this mubahala, and this has taken place on the 24th of Dhul Hijjah. Now the seventh fadila that Amirul Mu'mineen has in this sacred month of Dhul Hijjah, it is the revelation and the nuzul of Suratul Dahr, which is also known as Suratul Insan. And there the sha'n nuzul of this surah is such that Imam Hassan and Hussein were ill. Amirul Mu'mineen and Hazrat Fatima alayhim as-salam, they vowed to fast upon their shifa, for their shifa, and following them the other members of those who were with Amirul Mu'mineen in the house, like Hazrat Fizza, they all fasted for 3 days, and every day when it was time for iftar, and that humble dwelling of Amirul Mu'mineen and Hazrat Fatima alayhim as-salam, they prepared some bread. To break their fast, someone knocks at the door. Amirul Mu'mineen gives away his bread, Hazrat Fatima gives her share, and then Hassanain also they give, and following them Fizza also, she gives away her bread, and they break their fast with just water. The first day, a yatim comes. The second day, a beggar, a needy comes. The third day, someone who is a captive, a prisoner of war, he comes. Now the prisoner of war is someone also who is faithless. He comes and they give away whatever they have. And this act of selflessness was such beautiful that Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, He liked so much that Hannakallah fi Ahl Baytik, that Allah, He praised and He exalted the Ahlul Bayt such, and then this surah was revealed. وَيُطْعِمُونَ الطَّعَامَ عَلَى حُبِّهِ miskinan wa yatiman wa asira, that they feed out of love to those who are destitute, the needy, yatim, the orphans, and asir, the captives. So this incident, it took place on the 25th of Dhul Hijjah, and this is the seventh virtue of the fadilat of Amirul Mu'mineen Salamullahi alayh. Now the statement that we have here, again for those of you who've joined late, Rahimallah Imra'an Ahya Amrana, that Allah have mercy on those who revive our teachings, who revive our sayings, and who revive the way of life, this seerah, this sunnah that Ahlul Bayt Salamullah alayh have mentioned. And it is wajib on every one of us, on everyone to observe this Ghadeer. And that the hadith also, I just repeat for those who've come late, that Rasulullah on the day of Ghadeer, he says, those who are present, they inform those who are absent. Every father, he informs his children. What is that of this incident and event of Ghadeer, and teaching children the mahabbat and the love of Amirul Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salatu wassalam. And then says, فَلْيُبَلِّغْ إِلَى يَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ. And this is a duty, mandatory, wajib upon everyone until the day of judgment, that you have to do it. You have to do it. And if you do not do it, he says, مَلْعُونٌ مَلْعُون مَغْضُوبٌ مَغْضُوب, that cursed and banished from the special mercy of Allah he will be, and upon him be the wrath and the divine azab of Allah. مَنْ رَدَّ قَوْلِي فِي عَلِيٍّ هَذَا, whoever denies this my statement for Amirul Mu'mineen Salamullahi alayh. It's an important night, and there is a special salat which has to be offered, and it is only for tonight. So niyat will be after your Maghrib and Isha prayers. It's a 12 rakat prayer in one stretch. And like the 2 rakat prayer, you finish after the tashahhud, there is a salam and you end it. But for this one, it's one 12 rakat prayer, one block of 12 rakats, having 6 tashahhud. After every second rakat, you'll have a tashahhud. So the first 5 tashahhuds without salam. So you will just sit and then tashahhud, stand again, do the 2 rakats and sit down, tashahhud, and then stand again until you've done the 5th tashahhud, and then the 10th rakat will be offered with the ruku, and then you'll get up for the 12th rakat. Now the format of reciting the surahs also, it's different in this namaz, in this prayer, and that is in the first 11 rakat after Suratul Hamd. The first 11 rakat, just one Suratul Hamd, and then you have 10 times Suratul Ikhlas and once Ayatul Kursi for the first 11 rakat. For the 12th rakat, you'll have 7 Suratul Hamd, 7 Ikhlas. And then you've done that, you will take a qunut, and in the qunut you will recite La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah, lahul mulku wa lahul hamd, yuhyi wa yumitu wa yuhyi wa huwa hayyun la yamut, biyadihil khair wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. And then ruku and the 2 sajdas and this 6th tashahhud with the salam, and the prayer will come to an end. And after that, there's a sajda that you will perform, a small dua to recite, and then you ask for your hajat. It's a beautiful namaz. Once in a lifetime at least, do this so that we have something to present to the Almighty Allah for the Ghadeer that we have done. And all these observances, they are for our own betterment and to intensify and increase this love and bond that we have with Amirul Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salatu wassalam. Ya Allah, between us, Quran and Ahlul Bayt, never ever come across a moment of separation. And this mahabbat of Amirul Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salam that you have given us, Allah never sees it away from us, even for a moment. May that be here in Barzakh or in Qiyamah. Ya Allah, the sweetest moment of our life be our death, and this yaqeen and this iman that we have in the arrival and being present of Amirul Mu'mineen and helping us at the time of our death. Allah, we have yaqeen in that, we believe in it, and we want Amirul Mu'mineen's special favors in this dunya and akhirah. All those who are ill and ailing, Allah, grant them shifa. All those who have passed away by Amirul Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salam, make them a guest of honor in the presence of Amirul Mu'mineen, and Allah forgive them, elevate their ranks, and hasten in the return of Imam al-Asr عليه الصلاة والسلام وعجل في فرج مولانا صاحب الزمان. We will have these sessions until Friday, inshallah.